Okay, this video is called Expanding Brackets 2. Now the main difference between these questions and the previous ones is we have a negative term on the outside and a subtraction on the inside. Now I find the easiest way for students to do these when they first start is to every time you have a subtraction, change it to an addition. So in this case, I'm going to change that subtract there to an add, and every time you change the operation from add to subtract, you change the sign of the number. So instead of being subtract 4, it's plus -4. Okay, let's go ahead and expand it. I get -5 times p is -5p. It's always going to be plus because I'm changing all subtractions to addition. -5 times -4, well, a negative times a negative is a positive. And by the way, this is a really common mistake that students make when they've got a negative sign and a subtraction. They want to just make that subtract rather than add. Okay, let's do the same thing for the second one. I've got a 4m subtract 3n. Every subtraction I change to an addition and add the opposite. Okay, let's go -2m times 4m. Well, -2 times 4, positive times, sorry, negative times a positive is a negative, and m times m. Well, m times m, we just write that as m squared plus, because it's a plus there, and -2m, -2m times -3n. Well, -2 by -3 is a +6, and m times n. So once again, because we have a negative and a subtraction, that ends up being an addition. A negative times a negative is a positive. Looking at the third question, this time we've got a -2k on the outside and a -2k is the first term on the inside. Well, that's not a subtraction, so I'm not going to change the sign of that. It's just a -2k. It is an addition, so I can just go ahead and multiply. -2k times -2k, -2 times -2 is +4, and k times k is k squared plus, and -2k times 3 is -6k. So that's all correct. And if you want to, you can rewrite it as 4k squared, and adding a -6k is the same as subtracting 6k. And that's your final answer in expanded form. Okay, the last one is in red because that's a bit of a challenge question. We don't actually have a number outside. We just have a negative sign. So whenever you see just a negative sign without a number, what it implies is that number is actually -1. So if you don't see a number outside a bracket, put a 1 in there. Now we can proceed as before. Oh, first I better change subtract to plus negative. And now we go -1 times 5k is -5k. Again, plus. And -1 times -2 is +2. And that's how we deal with questions where there's a subtraction inside the brackets.